I'm Leanna McConnell, and I am in HDFS working on my PhD. All right, peer victimization is a relatively common and harmful experience for adolescents, and it generates involuntary responses, both physiologically, and they then can generate their own voluntary coping responses. Engaged coping responses like problem solving, have been associated with positive outcomes, while disengaged coping responses like avoidance have been associated with negative outcomes. And this study is the first to look at the interaction between peer victimization experiences and their responses to their involuntary responses, predicting their voluntary coping responses. So we used a sample of 123 early adolescents who we assessed across 10 months over the transition to middle school. At time 1, we collected their peer victimization experiences as well as their involuntary responses to stress, both objectively with skin conductance level reactivity or sweating during a peer evaluative stress task, as well as subjectively using a self-report of things like my heart is racing or I couldn't stop thinking about this experience. And we also collected their engaged and disengaged coping responses at time 1 and time 2. Peer victimization predicted the use of less engaged and more disengaged coping responses over time, which may be because adolescents feel like those engaged responses, those problem-solving strategies don't really help them, and then they're tempted to use more disengaged strategies because they provide some immediate relief. But most importantly, I found that peer victimization experiences interacted with those involuntary responses so that kids who have lower levels of involuntary responses and higher levels of peer victimization have used less engaged coping strategies, but when they have those higher levels, they don't have that problem. So perhaps peer victimization or those involuntary responses to stress provide kind of a protection and allow adolescents to identify that there's a problem that they can react to and then provides the resources.